Hello, I'm Stephen Hammond with Covenant Financial Ministries. Today we're going to be talking about different financial situations that we have experienced over the last decade. Stay tuned. If you like what you see and what you hear, hit that like and subscribe button, and also you can touch the bell and get notified of all our updates. I'm here today with Grayson Shaw, a investment advisor representative with Christian Values Investing, and we're going to be talking about financial situations that we have experienced over the last decade. You know, we talk with a lot of people about finances and their investments, setting up a budget, a spending plan, and it seems like so often people don't come to see us unless they get into a position where they can't seem to dig their way out. So instead of a person usually coming to us with, helping us do a budget, help us design a spending plan, it seems like when people are over their head, they come to us seeking a miracle, Grayson. Have you experienced that?
Well, I think that you would have a lot more experience with that than me. I know that you've told me about a couple of times when you've had people come in and, they're driving a brand new car, they've got designer sunglasses on, they've got the nicest type of clothes, and they want you to wave a magic wand over their head and basically fix their situation without having to do anything. But a lot of times it takes discipline. It takes being able to say, hey, I'm going to dig my way out of this situation and I'm going to get right. I'm going to make sure that I'm following biblical financial principles so that I'm on the right track to get out of debt and to live a life and manage my finances in the right way.
Let me tell you a story about a woman that came into my office several years ago, and she drove up in a brand new Mustang. She got out. She didn't have her uniform on from her job, but she looked like she just walked off a Cosmo magazine, had those designer sunglasses on, and she came in and sat down, and I asked her, how could I help her? She said, Steve, I've got some problems financially, and I don't know what to do about it. And as we worked through her spending plan, where the money was going, we realized that she was working her job and all she could pay was the minimum balance on her credit card. And she couldn't work any overtime. The job wouldn't allow it. She didn't really want to get an extra job. And so the alternative, I told her, so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to notify your husband of all this money that you spend, all this high credit card balance that you have. And Grayson, she looked at me and she said, I cannot do that. And I said, why? She said, because my husband doesn't know that I have all this credit card debt. If he was to know, he would divorce me right away. And so she left the office sad because she couldn't make enough money to pay her bill. She didn't want to change her lifestyle. She didn't want to get rid of that brand new car. She didn't want to do the things to get into the correct place financially, because what it would have done, it would have took financial surgery to get her where she needed to be, and she was not willing to do that. And so many times, Grayson, we come across people that they come to us at the last moment looking for a miracle, but they're not willing to do what it takes to get where they want to go. What's been your experience, Grayson? Have you given anybody maybe advice before you really got into biblical financial wisdom and maybe kind of regretted that advice, or maybe seen things that need to be corrected?
Yeah, when I was in college, before I came on board here, obviously, I knew a little bit about finances. I understood how things worked to a certain extent, And I had gotten a credit card, and I remember getting it and getting my credit card with the New York City skyline on it, and I was real excited because I was thinking, I'm going to start building credit, and maybe I'll be able to get a loan and be able to start a business one day, and I'll be set. And it ended up working out for me. I never got into credit card debt or got into trouble like that. But I assumed that everybody else was going to be like me and say, I'm just going to take the rewards from this and pay it off at the end of the month. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. And so while we don't agree with everything that Dave Ramsey would say, I kind of understand where he's coming from when he tells people not to get credit cards, especially people from his audience that are trying to learn how to get out of debt. Because I've told two people that are very close to me, and through them, some other people have gotten credit cards, and what happens, it almost seems like clockwork, is they get into a few $100s worth of credit card debt, and that $50, $60, $70 a month that you got to pay on that in interest, it's insurmountable, even with a little bit of debt. And for that reason, I can't really recommend that anybody gets a credit card anymore, because I don't want that to be on me, even partially.
Well, a credit card is not bad if you handle it properly. And see, the thing with it for so many people, it's like handling and putting a big, thick, juicy T-bone steak in front of a man that's starving. It's like he cannot resist taking a bite out of that T-bone steak. And a credit card for so many people are like that. They can't seem to resist not running to the store and buying things they really don't need. And that brings me to another time. This was probably, Grayson, 20 years ago. I had a guy that came to me. He had started a business, but he didn't save any capital to start the business, and he spent everything to get started on a credit card. And he launched the business didn't make it, and this was 20 years ago, and he had close to $80,000 to $100,000 in credit card debt, and he was working 80 hours a week at his job just to pay the minimum credit card debt payment on that credit card debt. And he had dug himself so deep it was virtually impossible for him to come out unless he declared bankruptcy or unless he somehow or another received a windfall. But I would probably say that's probably two of the worst I've seen in the last 20 years. But if you're struggling with finances, don't get yourself so deep where you can't get out until you declare bankruptcy. Seek financial help. Go and develop a spending plan, a budget. You mark everything you spend, everything that comes in, and you live on that budget. And what it does, it will set perimeters that will keep you safe, where you won't go beyond out of that area where it will end up hurting you. So really what a spending plan and a budget is to keep you safe and keep you prosperous. And Grayson, is there anything else you would like to add to this before we close?
Yeah, there are some people that you'll tell them about how to get out of debt, and sometimes they will take it to heart. But for the most part, a lot of people just stay in that same rut and they don't want to get out. So don't be that person. Listen to good advice from people that want to help and want to see you succeed, because we don't like when people have to go bankrupt. We don't like having to counsel people about being $80,000 in debt. But unfortunately, it's just a reality. But a lot of times there is something you can do about it, especially if you catch it early on. So just try to make sure that if you're not building good financial habits, to break them, and to make sure that you are following biblical financial principles that you can find on the Covenant Financial Ministries website.
Until next time, God bless you.